let's go back to gold price a little bit. I read one of your articles recently. I believe you said that the euro price for gold per ounce reached an all-time high. Can you explain the significance of that and what that means for gold?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's often overlooked because the gold price is priced in US dollars, like most commodities are, on the international market. If I'm buying or trading with someone in Singapore, for example, that transaction is going to be settled in US dollars. So we tend to all kind of, especially Americans, obviously, we put on the blinders and we look at that price and say, well, how is it performing in my currency? But what's happening outside of the United States in other currencies, like in Canada, for example, in Europe and in Australia, there was a number of countries where it hit record highs within the last year or two. Really what's happening is just those currencies are, devaluing compared to the USD. So it's relative currency to the gold price, but the significance in the bigger picture is that it's another indicator that global demand for precious metals is very good. It's also an indicator that the US dollar is still really, really strong. And in some cases, the strength of the USD might make the gold price in USD look a little bit weaker than it actually is. So I would just look at it basically as another indicator. If you're reaching record highs in a number of currencies, not just one that tends to be underperforming, you're reaching in a number of currencies, that's a really good indicator for the gold price. But again, that USD is very strong. So long as we're comparing just USD to gold, you end up with the price that we have today, which is still getting close to record highs.
Yeah. What's your personal projection, if you are allowed to even make that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an analyst. I don't spend my days looking at charts and doing technical analysis. I spend my days selling gold and silver to investors and helping them buy gold and silver in storage all over the world. So I'm not necessarily basing my projections or my prices on any kind of technical data. What I'm basing it on is the demand I see at the street level. And by street level, I mean mainstream investors. Our volumes at SWP right now are about 300% higher than normal. So we're an indicator for the larger North American market. And speaking to my colleagues in the market that are also retailers, wholesalers, mints, their volumes are also around 300, 400, some maybe a little bit lower, but everyone is very, very busy. So that's a very strong indicator. Number two, you have the ETFs have posted net inflows. I think last week it was 20 sessions in a row. I don't know what they've done this week, but it was net positive for 20 sessions straight, which is very significant. And central banks continue to add gold because there's a lot of risk in the market. So everything is there, fundamentally speaking, to drive that price higher. And the trend overall, because we're in a crisis period, people are coming into the market, a lot of new investors in gold and stuff like that. That being said, I think the price, we are going to see new record highs within the next 18 months. I think it can happen in 2020, but maybe I'm a little bit optimistic. But everything that I've experienced in my career, and I went through the 2008 crisis, is telling me that we're going to see new record highs based on the demand that I'm seeing and based on the sentiment in the market, because a lot of people are really looking for safe havens, and gold fills that niche so well. And I think once the stock market starts to actually reflect what's happening in the economy, there's going to be another influx of investors into the market. So my projection for this year, 2020, would probably be between, I'd say, like 1850 to 1950 conservatively. And in the next 18 months, very good chance we're going to be into new record territory, challenging 2,000 US dollars an ounce.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you were mentioning earlier that you basically